Alrighty, welcome to Romera Records virtual cast. Today we have on KeldaMuzik. How's it going?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing well. Uh, glad we can actually do this. Last time we had some technical difficulties, but here we are.
I
We're
know. I'm sorry.
it's all good.
We're here now. We got it together, right?
Yeah. So yeah.
Definitely.
Uh, I guess go ahead and give everybody the lowdown on who you are, what you do, and guess like how you got started.
Yeah, the music, also known as Diva from the Bay Area, California. I am a hip hop recording artist, actress, talk show host. Um, geez, I'm always forgetting what I'm doing. I'm doing so many things. Also, I'm the designer of Tam's Berets, which is the beret I'm wearing right now. And I'm also a businesswoman. I have my own entertainment media company called Diggs Media Group, where I work with artists behind the scenes as well. And gosh, I'm just like a multitasker, and it doesn't stop for me and never will. This is like what I'm born to do.
That's awesome. That's a lot of stuff. What is something that you are doing for digs for the artists? Like what are some things that you're helping them with?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked me that question. So with Diggs Media Group, I'm currently working with the Loonies, particularly Numbskull from the Loonies. I'm sure you guys all remember the song "I Got Five on It." So I've been doing bookings for them, and also I worked with Bay Area rap artist Fonny. You know, unfortunately, he's not here right now. He's got to do some time. Uh, so I was working with him with doing shows, coordinating licensing opportunities for a couple of his hit tracks, and also been doing like PR and stuff like that for other independent artists. So yeah, like aside from music, I've been doing, work behind the camera, I would like to say, and trying to help establish artists, go further, I guess I should say, or kind of pick up where they left off.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a rough road for people who don't know anything about the music business. Like it's not easy to get to where you want to go because of connections. Like the saying is very true in the music business. It's not what you know, but who you know. And a lot of times you need those people in the right places to get where you to get what you want and to get where you want to go. So I definitely know, your struggles to get artists onto the platforms that you want them to be on and to get them the publicity that you want them to have because you got to just be out there. You got to be touching hands and being able to look people in the eyes and have those kind of connections with people because if you don't then you might be falling behind.
Definitely. What I like to tell other artists is you're campaigning. You know what I mean? It's almost like you're running for president. You're trying to win people's support, right? Because you want people to stream your music. You want people to attend your shows. You want people to be following you all over social media and liking your content, engaging with you, and just really showing support. So it is really hard. And it's sometimes it's unfortunate if you're an artist and you don't have a budget and you don't have the right team behind you. It really, really is hard. Like sometimes you could just be gigging for the rest of your life, doing showcases and open mics, but that's okay if you're passionate about music and it is just a hobby. You're just doing what you love, and it's like an outlet to release stress and to express yourself. But professionally, if you want to be in this industry, I hate to say it, but it does take money. It takes a lot of money. And it is all about who you know, it's about what you know, and it's all about showing up to all your scheduled events. It's all about shaking hands, taking photos with people. You know, when you're an artist, you have to look at yourself as a business. You have to look at yourself as a brand. You're not just an entertainer. You're more than that. You have to wear several hats. Sometimes you have to do your own publicity. You have to do your own marketing. You have to do your own promotions. You have to set up your own podcast interviews. You have to do so much before you could really win a fan over. And this is just aside from making great music and from being, you know, a great personality. You've got to wear some business hats. And this is the only way you're ever going to attract the bigger brands and major labels to want to work with you, because you have to show them that you're already profitable. You're already doing your thing with or without a label or some major corporation behind you. And that's how you win the label over, because now they're willing to match you with their funding and their resources. And when you get signed to a label, you're just taking the next step up to elevate your career, because now you're utilizing all of their resources that they have, whether it's, you know, locally, regionally, nationally, internationally. And it takes a lot of effort. You really have to build yourself, you know, just like a brand, just like Twitter, just like Facebook, just like IG, or just like some of the other artists that you see out here. No one made it as an overnight success. You really do have to put in the work.
Yeah, and if you are an artist and you hear all these things, you're like, "Well, I don't wanna do all that." Well, then you need to find people, an entire team to be able to help you, and good luck. Like, it's not easy
Yeah.
finding an entire team of people that are willing to help you and who can believe in you the way that you believe in you. So, it's a difficult thing, but obviously what, Kelda is doing is showing artists like, "Hey, you know, I know certain things, I can help you, and I'm able to put together the right pieces that can get you where you're going." So it's a great thing to have a media company in your situation that is able to help artists. Is there certain artists that you like to work with? Do they need to be at a certain status? Do they need to like know certain things, or you can start with anybody?
Well, you know, for me, I rather work with established artists because they're already established, right? They already have a track record. They've already have either win platinum, gold, or, you know, at least sold some, you know, a certain amount of records or streams. For me, it's just easier that way. Uh, Now, when we are looking at an independent artist and someone who doesn't really have a following, but you know, the talent's great, the music's great, and the performances are great, that's where we have to consider looking at a budget, because the budget is going to promote you. The budget pays me and my company, my team, to work for you, and also pays for all the tools you need to become successful. You know, you need to pay for advertising. Sometimes you need to pay to play, which means pay to perform. Sometimes you gotta pay to, you know, get on playlists, to get on certain stations, and you need to again establish yourself locally in your area. And we have to see that there's a fan base for you. And when we know that, then we know which direction to take with your career. And it's so funny how I got started into being, you know, my own manager at the time. I had my own company called Gold Dig Entertainment, and it's not what you think. It's not Gold Digger like that. It's Gold Digger for you know, we're digging for the best. We're digging for success. We're digging for money. We're digging for networking connections. Fast forward, I changed my company to Diggs Media Group. I don't really know how I came up with Diggs Media. I think I just like sent so many emails to people and I saw different names and I said, "Hey, Diggs sounds like a catchy, cool name." So now we're Diggs Media Group, and not only do I have a team, but I also have, you know, a management team to where I don't have to do anything really. They do everything for me, and this is what I encourage artists to do: build a team behind you, even if it starts with family, friends, relatives, or even someone who's a huge
fan of yours, build a team first, because anybody is, capable of making a phone call for you, or sending an email, or running your social media for you, while you continue to hone your craft and work with different producers, different studios, to really build your sound and build your branding sound. So my advice to independent artists is you got to start from the bottom. You got to start from somewhere. Doesn't mean you can't make it. You know what I mean? It's just you have to work a little harder.
Yeah, and I think that's something that most people need to really understand is if you have that team, then it makes your life easier and it allows you to be the person that you need to be. It allows you to be the artist that you need to be because if you're too busy doing everything, you have your hands in everything, then you're going to number one drain the energy that you have to go out and make music, but two, it kind of prevents you from doing those things that you should be doing as an artist, like doing shows, traveling, and meeting people, going to conferences, stuff like that. Like those things kind of get put on the back burner when you have to, if you're the person doing the merch, if you're the person making all the sales, you're the person making the phone calls. Like, and don't get me wrong, everybody's been through it. Like everybody has to go through it. But at the same time, it definitely helps if you just understand the value of a team, the value of finding somebody who has a company that can help you out, and giving up a little bit of that of those duties and delegating it to people who really know what they're doing and people that you can trust to get the work done for you.
Yeah, yeah. And that's where the networking part comes in. It's not like you're running around with your hands out, looking for a handout, right? It's more of what can you bring to the table that this person hasn't worked with before? And that's how artist management companies operate. That's how labels operate. That's even how some of your favorite brands operate. Why should we have you represent us in public to the masses? What can you bring to the table that we don't already have? Oh, well, I have good lyrics and good music. Okay, that's fine. But what work have you done for yourself that we know will make our job easier? And sometimes it's difficult for artists, and it was difficult for me starting out. Especially, I'm gigging at all these showcases, open mics, and afterwards I want to holler at the DJ or see who's in the crowd that could possibly manage me or work with me. And you're not always gonna get a yes. You know what I mean? It's people are like, okay, we see you, but keep going. And that's why social media is so powerful, because now you can do anything and post it online, and people are just going to be like, bravo, bravo, whatever you do, because you're showing your audience or your potential fan base that you got this. This is what you want to do. This is what you're going to do. And you're not sleeping until the job gets done. And that's why I say, hey, as an artist, you're going to have to wear several hats. And it's unfortunate, but what I'd like to also say is this industry is not being in front of the camera. You're not going to college for 4 years just to get a record deal afterwards. It doesn't happen like that. Like how you can go to college and afterwards you get a executive position somewhere, or end up becoming a doctor, lawyer, firefighter, police officer. It doesn't work that way. This business is like a lottery. If you hit it, you score, you go big. If you don't, things aren't all bad. You just continue to make music because you make music. And that's how you need to be anyway. You move as if you don't care if you get a deal. You don't care if you get paid or not. You're still going to perform, and you still are going to love what you do anyway, because this is what you like to do. So never look at it as, oh, I'm getting in this industry to get rich or be famous. That's the very last thing that will come when you're in this business. It's hard work, it's determination, it's commitment, it's consistency, and it's all about being the best artist you can be. And again, campaigning, taking selfies with people, engaging with your audience online, and just really showing the world that you want this. And the best person who's ever demonstrated that is Beyonce. I just look at her on stage. She's nonstop. She releases a new album every year, or a project every quarter, whether it's music, merchandise, a documentary, a movie, a tour, whatever it is, because you can tell this is what she loves to do. And you could see it on stage. This is what she loves to do. So this can't just be an overnight thing where you release a video and go viral and now you're getting booked to open for these major artists. Hell no. You really, really, really got to put the work in. You really have to invest money. This business is like hey, if you want to invest in a nice car that you want, you're not just gonna get it off the lot, right? You gotta put some money towards that car. You gotta invest in that car. You gotta make sure you're able to keep up with the payments, the insurance, the maintenance, everything, if you really want to keep that car and if you want to keep it in good shape. So same thing like an artist. You have to keep branding, you have to keep rebranding, and you have to keep investing in yourself.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's important for people to understand the ability of themselves and how they can affect their own branding. It's not as much as these external factors of, how can so and so affect me. It's really about everything that you do, from the clothes you wear, the colors you wear, where you are usually out at, what the things you're posting on social media. Those all are factors in your branding of who you are. And just like you said, you have to think of yourself as a company, because what will we think if we saw Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, and he's on his Samsung phone? Like, that's what he carries around all the time. It's like, hey man,
Mhm.
you're the CEO of Apple. Like, why don't you have an iPhone? And it's because it's like these things of everything you do is under a microscope when you are trying to promote yourself. As you said, it's like campaigning. You have to
Yeah,
be like vigilant of everything that you do. And same way that we look at people like Donald Trump and Joe Biden, like everything Joe Biden does, everybody makes a big deal out of it.
it's
It does.
under a microscope.
No matter what he does, people are making a big, and as you said, it's under a microscope. Like all these things, everything you do, people are going to judge you by, every action you make. So it's important to pay attention to who you are and what you're trying to represent as an artist.
Definitely. And I remember the first piece of advice that I received when I first started out was, everyone's watching you. You have to make sure you're on point at all times. And that even means if you're in the bathroom using the restroom, go to bathroom pretty. You know what I mean? Act like people are watching you go to bathroom. When you put on your clothes, hey, act like there's a crowd watching you put on your clothes. Don't just reveal everything. Even when you're at the grocery store, when you're out with friends or whatever, you have to be a star and you have to move like a star, because the second that you miss a step, you'll end up on social media in a bad way. You'll end up on social media being a laughing stock. You're not who you say you are. You're not Diva. You're not KeldaMuzik anymore. You're just this girl who accidentally lost her wig in the wind in the middle, of the streets, or you fell at a club and drinks are all on you and stuff. You're not a star anymore. You're just that girl who looks ridiculous. So you really do have to watch every step you make. And just like you said, looking at the president, looking at Donald Trump, everyone is watching everything. And the thing is, the public is picky and the public is waiting for you to mess up. So they have a reason to blast you on social media, or a reason to even blow up their social media, because now, hey, if you see Diva lose her wig in the streets, that's newsworthy. That's social media worthy. That's going to increase your YouTube, your Instagram, TikTok streams, likes. So you do have to be careful at all times how you present yourself when you're on stage. Make sure you know your lyrics. Make sure you're properly engaging with your fans. make sure you look right. You know what I mean? Just everything matters when the world or when the public is watching you.
So you did name some people that you've been working with, but like who are some people that you're like, man, I would really like to work with that person?
Producer wise, I would love to work with Just Blaze, the Neptunes, Timbaland, DJ Mustard. You know, when it comes to my music, I'm all about the music. I'm all about the quality, not quantity. I'm not one of those artists that are just going to stay in the studio all day and just bang out tracks and get it done just for the sake of releasing an album so that I could keep my Spotify streams up. No, I rather release a single every quarter and maybe an album every year or so, just so you know what kind of substance that I put in my music. And sometimes it could take a while for me to work on one song because maybe, I write in the studio, then record it, and I'm like, I don't like that. It seems like I wrote that too fast. Or I don't like the way I rap that. I don't like the way, I sung. Um, so it's like kind of, hey, if I have to circle back to re-recording this track or maybe choosing another beat or getting another feature, then that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not just gonna just
Song for the hell of it. I gotta have quality because there's nothing better than people or fans reciting your lyrics or even using your music for syncing purposes, TV placements. I had a song called I Don't Care. That song is about like 15 years old, but right before COVID hit, it got placed in Real Housewives of Atlanta on Bravo TV.
Oh wow.
And it just goes to show you that it is all about quality if you really want to have longevity in your career.
Yeah, I think similar to that story is everybody in the music industry was talking about that song "Running Up That Hill" that was in Stranger Things because that song came out in like 1985, I think, and
Mhm,
I don't even know if it was a hit back in 1985. I'm not sure. It might have been, but
mhm.
it was blowing up all over social media and everything. And I think they said it was worth like millions of dollars in streaming after Stranger Things started playing it. And it's like, man, like that song came out like 40 years ago. That's crazy.
It is. And actually, there's always a wave of old songs that are being placed on new commercials or new content today on TV or online. As a matter of fact, what was it during Christmas season? I think it was like 2021. Uh, it was all Mary J. Blige just all over. I think it was like the Target commercials. I'm not sure, but they used one of her songs that she released on her very first album and placed that on all the Target commercials or all the Christmas commercials at the time, and that just brought that track back to life again
Mm.
to where it has more streams, new fans. I can't forget where Missy Elliott performed at the Super Bowl. Um, she generated a whole new audience, a whole new listenership because people were like, oh my gosh, we never heard of her until she performed at the Super Bowl. And now she's getting over a million streams. So old music or music that was previously recorded is still good till this day, to be honest. And again, that it all goes back to the artist. If you put in time and effort and emotion and passion in your music, then you could definitely have a career that is gonna last forever. You know, look at Michael Jackson, look at Celine Dion, look at Madonna. No matter what, their music will always be relevant because they always knew how to reinvent themselves. They knew how to ride the trend wave, whatever is new right now. Um, I'm sure like um, even even like a while ago when Michael Jackson was huge, he was still like making music that that kind of let's see, like during the time when alternative and rock music was heavy, Michael Jackson rode that wave too. He was still Michael, but he still incorporated some of that music, that sound into his music. And that's what captured a whole new audience. Now, the rock and alternative fans like him. You know what I mean? So, same thing with the artists today. Like, you got to keep reinventing yourself and you got to stay relevant. That's the only way how. And for me, that's what I continue to do. Like now, I've released a EDM song called "Fall Apart." You guys could stream that on Spotify, iTunes, all your favorite music platforms. And before that, I released an EDM project, and I turned it into a workout project to where, okay, cool, this is KeldaMuzik, rapping or singing, but it's over a different type of beat. This is something now that you would listen to in the dance clubs in San Francisco. You know what I mean? And now I'm getting more rotation on different stations. And now I'm getting bookings for EDM concerts and so forth. So the point is you really, really have to continue to focus on keeping up with the trends, keeping up with what other artists are doing, and also keeping up with what the labels are looking for.
Yeah, and the example that I always use is Usher's "Yeah," like that song with Ludacris and
Yeah,
Lil Jon. Like that, I think
yeah,
it
yeah,
came out in 2004. So
yeah,
if you're 20 years old or younger, that song came out when you were born or before you were born. Like
yeah,
that's a crazy concept to think of for people who are our age or older, because it's like, man, like they still play that song in like every stadium, before every football game, during football games or basketball games. Like they're still pumping that song, and
heck yeah,
they've probably made a killing from that song. So it's all about, as you said, that quality. Like if you have a song that people are just going to love, then do that and do that kind of music, because people will continuously play it for forever. Music is timeless. We're still playing music from years and years ago. So don't give
oh
up.
heck yeah.
Yeah, don't give up on creating some great quality stuff.
Yeah, yeah, always. And look at the artists that yes, that did come out in the early 2000s or even the 90s and they're still relevant today because they know how to reinvent their sound to where it's not like they're running away from their primary sound. They're just twisting it a little bit, give you a little bit of flavor to show you they could sound like today's artists that are just now releasing music. And to me, that's what makes an artist an artist. When you can dabble into different genres of music, but still keep your same sound, then that right there, it screams longevity. I'll forever be a fan of you, you know? And I have fans like that too, because they're just like, wow, you did this EDM, dance, Afro tech project or whatever, but you're still giving us diva. You're still giving us KeldaMuzik. You're not changing up, or in other words, when people say you're not selling out, you know what I mean? You're just doing what works best for you. And when you gel with the music, no one can't tell you anything different. So that's what I've learned, years of recording and working with different producers, and just being able to create that diva signature sound for myself to where no matter what record you hear me on, you'll know it's KeldaMuzik.
Yeah, it's something that is definitely should be kept on people's minds whenever they think of the different kinds of things that you could possibly do with your career, with who you are. You have to be able to just, at the end of the day, it's all about creating value. We're talking about creating quality music, but what we're really saying is, what kind of value can you provide for people to listen to music? Like you said, you created that EDM music, which the way you're saying it is probably out of your normal realm of music, but
Yeah.
you saw the value in creating that, so you created it and you put it out there, and it's paid dividends by having a new crowd of people wanting your music. So you added value to who KeldaMuzik is by doing that.
Yeah, most definitely. And even like in 2019, I released the R&B pop track called Swipe Right. And then I recorded another song called Magic, and that one hit. That was like a throwback R&B track. And I'm not a singer. I don't have vocals. I'm not a vocalist. But the producer made me sound really good, and that's without auto tune. And so I was really shocked, because when you can push yourself to the edge, anything is possible, because it comes with confidence, it comes with self-esteem, it comes with practice, it comes with already knowing you can apply yourself no matter what type of music it is. So that's exactly what I did with Swipe Right and Magic, and now Get Loose, the EDM remix of the original Get Loose. I just push myself, and I just know that I could do anything. I can do country. I can do pop. I can do, oh, gosh, my mind's like racing right now, but I know I can do anything, because when you apply yourself, you can do it. So that's what artists have to realize. And really, that's what labels look for too. You don't want to be a one-hit wonder unless that's what you really want. But if you really want to continue to have a fan base, sell out stadiums, auditoriums, clubs, lounges, if you want to continue to have streams every time you release a project, it's all about creating good quality music. And that's when you have the labels that will really stick with you for a very long time, and they'll continue to invest in you, and they'll continue to expand your music into different regions or to a different audience, because you're just showing how flexible and capable you are as an artist. You're not just concentrated on one genre. You know that you can go far out. So it's all about taking a chance as well, but knowing that you're capable of taking that chance without losing any fans.
What are some ways that you have seen some people get creative, and whether it's creating music, marketing, what have you, that has really helped their career? And as I said, it doesn't matter if it's whether it's marketing or just created a specific song. Like you made a song called "Swipe Right," and that's what people are doing nowadays. So that was a very smart thing to do. So
Yeah.
what's another creative way that you've seen people create their value?
So Pink, everyone knows who Pink is. She started out singing R&B music. She was in an R&B group, and she released a solo album on LaFace Records with Babyface and LA Reid, and damn, her album was fire. But then, for herself, she's kind of just like, I'm not really sure if I want to do R&B, and I am a white girl, and I don't know if the R&B audience is feeling me like that. So she switched over to like pop rock, and now she's a major household name. And that was actually the best move for her. That didn't hurt her career at all. Even the R&B crowd still likes her. She still has R&B artists that show up to her concerts and stuff, because you you have faith in that artist and you support that artist because they made the right decision for their career. And some people like Pink better now, being a pop rock artist or a rock artist alternative, whatever you want to call it. They like her better now. Maybe her music sounds better. Maybe her vocals sound better. I mean, I think she sounds great either way, but she took a turn for the best in her career. And because of that, she'll forever have longevity, and she'll forever pack out a club. Uh, she's a stadium wherever she's performing. So, hey, some transition is good and some transition is not good. But it's all about taking that chance and knowing that you're going to succeed when you take that chance.
Yeah, and there's you were talking about some risk are not good. There was shoot, what's it? Rebirth. Remember Lil Wayne's album Rebirth
Mhm,
that he put out? Like everybody
mhm.
hated that album when he put it out, and it was because
Yeah.
it was just different. Like I actually recently went back and listened to it, and I was like, this wasn't that bad. I don't know why
Mhm.
everybody hated it, but I think it was just different, and it wasn't what people were used to from Lil Wayne, so they didn't like it. And I think if you go back and listen, like if let's just say you never heard of Lil Wayne and you listen to the album,
Right.
you'd be like, "Oh, who's this guy? You know, he's pretty good." And then you listen to his other stuff, and it probably throw you off. But I think he did a great job with that album, and it just got criticized, and it was for all the wrong reasons. I just think it was just so quick that he had made that album that people just weren't ready for something so different. It was almost like his innovation hurt him. His creativity hurt him, which is crazy.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned Wayne because remember Drake released his dance album
Yeah.
and that threw everyone off. Like, and he sing on the whole album, like, and music is like that true like office music. And so for him, he's Drake. Wayne is Wayne. They've already proven to their audience who they are. So it's kind of like give him a break.
Mm,
He wants to sing a whole dance album. Let him sing a whole dance album
yeah.
because next time when Drake comes back with the next album, it's gonna be fire. So or even some people were criticizing Busta Rhymes' latest album, and they're just saying, "Ah, oh, it's not really Busta." But I'm not mad at Busta. He's trying something new. He's already Busta Rhymes. He's already released several albums of him showing his skill in rap music. So it's okay sometimes to venture off into another genre and kind of play around with it because now you are really doing this for yourself because you are an artist. Or when Snoop did the Snoop Lion album, or he called himself Snoop Lion, he was doing reggae music. I mean, what are you gonna say? An artist is an artist. If Tina Turner was alive today and still releasing music, you might hear her on a couple album track, a couple hip hop album tracks, singing a hook.
Yeah.
I'm surprised no one actually hasn't even remade any of her songs, but that'll soon come. That'll soon come. But yeah, at any rate, once you've already proven yourself as an artist, you can kind of dabble into anything else and try new things because your fan base is loyal to you, and your fan base they trust you. They trust with what you're doing as long as you come back with that fire. Come back as the original Drake. Come back as the original Wayne. You can release all the rock music, dance music you want. Just come back with that hip hop fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that as you said, those guys already established who they are in the realm, and it definitely shows their ability to just kind of fluctuate, just oh, I'm gonna go over here and do this and then I'm gonna come back and do that. Some people, it takes them forever to just make one move and then it takes them a long time to recover. They have to get back in that mode or whatever, but I think it's great that we have artists who are able to just continuously just pump out this music and have good quality even if it's something that's just different. They're able to do something, and if you look back in time at a lot of the artists who have been very popular and then just completely fallen off. Like that's why we celebrate people like Drake and Lil Wayne and Snoop Dogg. These people have been making music for a long time. And there's other people out there who are still making music, but you aren't paying attention to it. Like Fabo from D4L. Like he released an
Mm-hmm,
album, I think it was a couple of years ago, and I
mm-hmm.
was like, dang, I didn't know Fabo was still releasing music. And it's just because, like, yeah, he's still doing it and it still sounds like Fabo, but
Yeah.
people just don't, they aren't talking about him. And I saw recently, Paul Wall was doing some music with Toby, and he's still
Or
getting,
even Killer Mike.
yeah, Killer Mike,
He just what did he win? He won like what, 3 or 4 Grammys
clean sweep.
because of his album. Yeah. And that album was such fire. Like, I'm even surprised the Grammys took note of that. Like, I'm surprised they were paying attention. He definitely deserves all the love that he's receiving right now and awards, because yeah, he's been out for I don't know how long, right? But he came back. He continues to make music. He came back with some fire, and everyone appreciated that, because it's like Killer Mike ain't never changed.
Yeah. And I tell people all the time, like, people like him have done, they have so much in their catalog that they're almost even on like autopilot, the way that their music is just like, yeah, I know what I can make and I know what I can do, so I'm gonna just keep putting out this kind of music and building my catalog. And a lot of people don't understand the value of a catalog, but to be able to, for people to see, what you've done and then see what you're currently doing, it really helps, because that allows them to have a, as I said earlier, like a brand identity of who you are. So it's, a lot of people are like, they think judging you is a bad term, but sometimes if you can't be judged, then you almost don't have value, if that makes sense. Like, if people don't
Mm-hmm.
have a way to judge you, then it almost hurts you. There's the famous phrase, a confused mind says no. So if somebody isn't sure
Mm-hmm.
what you are as an artist, then they might not even want to listen to you. If somebody wants rap music, or if, they hear Future, they know, they can listen to rap music from Future. But if you're just an artist that's making all different kinds of music all the time and you never have a specific lane, then people are going to be like,
Yeah.
I don't even know what you do. But it's okay to do it every once in a
Yeah.
while. But when you're doing it constantly, it can be
Yeah.
confusing.
Right. Because imagine, it's funny, I thought about that too. Like, imagine, okay, you release the hip hop album and then like a pop album, dance, and, you know, country, classical, whatever, right? And then you have a concert. It's like, okay, who's coming to the concert? You know what I mean? And like, I don't want to get things misconstrued. Once I start, rapping some of my songs and I'm saying, and this, F this, be this,
Yeah.
but I got my EDM fans there that are like, we're used to you being like a flower in your music and, singing soft songs and reciting poetry and stuff like that. I always think about that first, because I'm like, wait a minute, who do I want at my concert, to where they're not going to feel that they don't know who KeldaMuzik is, because half my set is all hip hop. You know what I mean? And then I'm busting out this, little R&B pop song or EDM song, and then the hip hop fans are like, huh? Like
Yeah.
what? Yeah. So that's why I say, when they reinvent themselves, they still have that flavor to them. And as long as you keep that flavor, that essence, people know that. And you'll have everybody coming to your concert with no issues, not waiting for you to sing that one pop song that you released. No, they want to hear all your music. They want to hear your whole catalog. And that's the kind of fan base that I pretty much have. And like you said, you can't be all over the place. You have to establish yourself in one genre, and then you can start venturing out to other genres and make yourself, noticeable in other markets, other regions. And obviously the campaigns are promoted differently. So when you're true to yourself as an artist, then you'll really fit into any genre of music.
Have you ever been starstruck or just been like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm about to work with like this person? Has that ever happened to you?
Ah, you know what? No. And the reason why I say that is because I'm one of them. And they're like me. We're all humans. We all breathe out of our nose, our mouth. We all uh we all go to bathroom every day, we're all just people, and I think when you are starstruck, sometimes you kind of lose who you are a little bit, and you don't look at yourself as one of them. And I experienced that before, where I kind of just like let myself go a little bit and just act like a normal person in public, and people spot me and say, Kelda Music Diva, but you see me in some sweats and tennis shoes and my hair in a bun. I'm like, oh shoot. And they're like, oh, can we get a selfie? I'm like, no, man, like I'm trying to go to the grocery store right now, or I'm trying to, exercise. And it's like, as an artist, you can't turn yourself off. So, same thing. If you meet or collaborate with someone who you were a big fan of, keep the starstruckness inside. Don't let them see you out of character, because now you are a fan. You are at a concert, waiting in line, buying a ticket, waiting to go see that artist. You're not one of them. So, my advice to artists is treat yourself the way other artists treat themselves, or how the way they treat themselves. Like the very first famous artist I ever met in my life was Redman, and he's one of my favorite lyricists, my favorite MCs. And I remember when interviewing him for my little reality series I had called Diva TV, we were just having a regular conversation. You know what I mean? Like, when's your next project? Or, man, this one album you released, this is, a particular song I like by you, or whatever. It's never starstruck. It's just more of support. And I'm a fan through the music. You know what I mean? Not because of who you are, but because I embrace what you put on wax, what you spit through the microphone. So I think all artists need to treat other artists with the same respect. There's no need to be starstruck.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, like, if you were to tell me that I won like a lifetime supply of like honey buns or something like that, like I would be so happy and like so excited. But if you told me that like Drake wanted to work with me or something like that, I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. Because
Yep.
I work hard to be able to get those opportunities to work with like big name people. So in my head,
Exactly.
I feel like I deserve that. But if you just told me I
Yeah.
won a lifetime supply of honey buns, I feel like I did nothing to deserve that. So I'm more excited to get that because I didn't do anything. I didn't put in hard work to get it. So that's how I feel about the difference between working with big name people and
Sure.
that other concept of just getting an opportunity is it's like, hey, if you work hard, those opportunities should happen. Like I understand being happy, don't get me wrong. Like you should be
Sure.
excited to do that kind of stuff, but if you're
Yeah.
working hard and putting in the time, then those opportunities should come up and you should be ready when it does come.
Right. Right. You shouldn't be surprised. You shouldn't be shocked. You should be like, this is supposed to be happening. Like, even for me, if I'm not touring and then I land a tour, I don't get excited like that about it. I'm like, great, this should be happening. I should be on tour every day. You know what I mean? I should be on set every day. I should be in the studio every day. I should be working with other artists who are on a higher level than me, because, yeah, I worked hard for this. I worked just as hard as they did to get to where they're at. So that's a great example, by the way, that you used. I think people need to, kind of take note of that, because, yeah, you got to look at yourself as one of them.
Yeah, and if you're a type of person who does get like basically starstruck when it comes to working with certain people, um, I would definitely suggest that you try to put yourself in more of those situations, so that
Mm-hmm.
you don't, lose your composure or feel like too nervous around certain people, because it will prevent you from being able to perform your best. It'll prevent you from
Yeah.
being the reason why you're in that position because people be like,
Right.
"Who is this?"
Yeah. 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 And it's funny you say that because I worked with I had this one particular manager before, and I was opening up for a big name, and my manager was backstage. And when the headliner came out of his dressing room, my manager ran over with the camera and was like, "Oh my God, let's take a selfie, blah, blah." And they're just like, "Don't you manage KeldaMuzik, the opener over there? Like, what's your deal, man? Like, what?" And I remember just feeling so embarrassed because I'm like, "You're making us look like we're not on top when mentally you should always think you're on top." Um, there was another particular situation where I produced my first independent short film called Love the Original Way, and it got accepted into, it was called BHERC, which it was a Black Hollywood Film Festival. My film got accepted in there, and they
Me. Oh shoot, sorry about that. Geez, I'm like right in the middle of a great sorry. So uh
when they invited me up to talk about my film with all these other established filmmakers, I brought my director with me
Mhm.
on stage. And before they could even introduce us, she stopped everyone and stopped the crowd and said, "Hey, I just want to say me and Kelda are happy to be here because we look up to you guys and we want to be like you someday." And I'm like, "Will you shut the
Oh,
You
man.
know what I mean? Like, our film has the best quality, just like everybody else here in the crowd, like, and I did work hard to produce that film. And, she didn't know how hard I worked on producing the film. I just thought I'd, bring her out just to get her feet wet and experience in Hollywood. But, for her to say that, I'm like, you're making us feel below others.
Mm.
Like, we're not them. We are filmmakers here on stage. We are, musicians who work hard. So never ever put yourself, don't ever think you're lower than somebody else. You're just the same as them, except for they obviously have a bigger platform than you do,
Yeah.
is the way I like to look at it. So yeah.
Kelda, what are some things that you're working on? Some things that you have planned in the future so that you can continue to develop, continue to rise up.
Yeah. So I'm working on another album called Super Diva. Um, that is gonna pretty much be like it's gonna be a continuation of my whole diva album movement. And I'm also working on a series called The Hodges with comedian Mario Hodge. That will be streaming on Amazon Prime
Is
pretty
that like a,
soon. We
a
just
Hodge twins?
No, no. So the series is based on comedian Mario Hodge, and man, he's opened up for many people. He's always on Kevin Hart's podcast,
Okay.
like every other week. And so the show's based on him being, a struggling comedian trying to make it, and I'm his rich wife who's funding his career. And we have our kids who are just kind of like, "Mommy, what do you do for a living? You have all this money, and then Dad, you're gone all the time, but you come back with no money." So so yeah, the show's named after him. His last name is Hodge, so it's called The Hodges. And again, that'll be streaming on Amazon Prime pretty soon. I do have a talk show called Diva Talk Tonight, which is a TV show. It's on Tubi, so you guys could visit Tubi and watch it. Um, I'm also working on, gosh, I'm working on so many things. Like when you have so many things going on, it's like, okay, I don't know what to say. I have
Mhm.
nothing. Wait, yes, I do. Oh, I'm still working on producing fashion shows for my line of berets called Tams. And we have a fashion show coming up in March with, or I'm sorry, not March, April, with Sky Concepts Entertainment. And I'll be working, I'm actually doing a few collaborations with other artists right now. So, gosh, it's just like a lot going on. I have my own podcast called Diva Talk, which is on, iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes. Um, yeah, it's just like it's nonstop with me. You just never know what I'm going to come up with next.
Well, that's great. I'm glad you're doing all those things because sometimes people they do stuff and then they kind of burn out. They just don't have any kind of shine left, and they get caught up in whatever they're doing, and they don't put stuff out. They make or work, and then have nothing to show for it. And so
Yeah,
I think it doesn't count unless people can enjoy it. So
that's
always,
right. Because you could enjoy what you want all you want, right? Listening to your
yeah,
own music in the car, watching your own content on YouTube. But if the masses don't see it, then just know you're doing it as a hobby and you're doing it for the love.
yeah,
But when the masses do see it, just know that you got to keep going, going, and going.
absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. If you could just go ahead and give everybody like contact info where they can find you. I know you just talked about all that other stuff, but yeah, just give people, some links and that kind of stuff where people can enjoy your stuff.
Yes, so everything is on my website. That's KeldaMuzik.com, KeldaMuzik.com. I like to call it Diva's World because you'll get lost in so much divalicious stuff, divalicious content from my music, upcoming releases, upcoming shows, an update on the Tams Berets. You'll see more collaborations and donations that we're making to other organizations. You'll also get to watch my TV and film content. I'm in another film called Inhumane that I just wrapped up. So a trailer will be coming for that soon. We're also working on the soundtrack for that. So again, KeldaMuzik.com is where you can find all my socials, where you can find, my bio, everything that you want to see, even live performances, everything. It's on KeldaMuzik.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, wisdom, and all the info that you had on how artists can improve their careers and things that they need to do to be able to make it to that next level, and all your experiences of the people that you've been working with and the things that you're constantly doing in media and music. It's very cool seeing you do all those things. So not many people are capable. Some people are struggling just to do one thing in music, but you're doing a little bit of everything, so it's really cool. So thank you for sharing all that.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. And I hope to see you guys again soon.
Awesome. Well, thank you for everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.